But what I noticed when I started working out trauma and anxiety and depression through my body is I immediately slept better. I immediately stopped having panic attacks before I went to bed at night. I immediately stopped feeling like jaw pain and shoulder pain, things that clench up when I don't even know because I'm just anxious.
Yeah.
I had less panic attacks. I could breathe better. My mind was more focused during my meditations. And these are all things that I noticed like within like a week and a half. And I was like, oh my, this stuff works. Like, oh my God.
Hi, this is Alexandra Ellis from aewellness.com, a self-care and wellness coach for busy women who are tired of being in pain and ready to get stronger and more flexible. I'm here today with my friend and awesome client, Tracy Clifton, and she's going to be sharing with us a little bit of her experience of what it was like to do self-care and wellness coaching. So I'll let you take it away. Tracy, tell us a little bit about yourself and your movement background and what you do.
Sure. Hi, Alex. Thanks for asking me. My life is crazy pants. I'm an actress. I am a screenwriter, and I am the vice president of a production services company. And I'm a mom to 2 fur babies. So I have not a lot of free time. And I eat most of my meals at red lights, and I don't even have kids. And so it's jam-packed, and I'm constantly moving from one aspect of my life to another. And so self-care time and me time and workout time is sometimes really hard to squeeze in, especially if it's like a really rigid schedule. And then on top of that, there's days when I work from home, and then I've been at home all day. And then if I have to like muster the energy to then go out and get to a gym, it makes it even harder. So it was really awesome to have like your workouts where I could choose the time and basically fit it into my schedule whenever it worked.
Yeah.
My fitness background is I've been an athlete almost all of my life. I did gymnastics when I was a kid, and I was really bad at that. And then I did soccer when I was a little bit older, and I was really bad at that. And then I got into martial arts, which it was okay that I was bad at that because I wasn't like on a team where I was like hurting anyone else's chances of a trophy or something like that. So I'm actually a first-degree black belt in Taekwondo.
I did not know that about you. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I've got 3 years of experience with Eskrima, which is Filipino sword and knife fighting.
Wow.
And then I've got 2 years experience with white dragon style Kung Fu. Got a little bit of experience with boxing. And then I did Pilates in college, and I loved Pilates. And then I started doing Piloxing here in Los Angeles, it's Pilates, boxing, and hip hop. And that was a lot of fun, but they shuttered down my studio, so I can't find a class to go to.
So rude.
And Pilates classes are great, but they're really, really expensive. They end up being sometimes like $23, $25 a class. And I'm just
like, for sure.
Yeah. So that's kind of my fitness background.
Awesome. And tell me a little bit more about what was going on when you decided to work with me and we decided to go on this journey together. Like what was going on at that time?
Sure. So I have, I hesitate to use very specific labels, but basically I navigate high functioning depression. I can get really sad, especially when there's no sunshine out, which luckily in California doesn't happen too often, but I can still get the blues. I navigate anxiety. So like when I go to bed at nighttime, my heart starts pounding, or it goes into a fight or flight response, or cortisol starts pumping through. I'm dealing with complex trauma and grief from some losses and things that have happened in my life. And I go to cognitive behavioral therapy, and I do hikes. And hikes are something that just literally putting one foot in front of the other, it's proven to start helping healing and trauma. But I started meditating. I was actually able to meditate for 600 days in a row, which I was super, super proud of. But at some point I felt like I was flatlining, that there was still this kind of aspect of my healing that I was missing. And I was kind of like working on, body and soul and spirit. And I was kind of ignoring the body part of that. I was kind of trying to heal my mind and my soul and my spirit, and thinking that it wasn't really connected with my body. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that one of the most important things that you've helped me realize through working together is that the body keeps score. It has such a huge impact on healing, even emotions, trauma, things like that, that you're like, no, like the trauma's here. It's not like in my shoulder blades. And yet the
Mm-hmm.
body absorbs trauma.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it takes these unprocessed feelings and emotions and things you haven't dealt with, and it stuffs it into your muscles and your bones, and it really ends up taking an impact on your health. You know, they talk
Mm-hmm.
about how people who are depressed, they get sick more often. They
Yeah.
obviously sleep less, and sleep's a huge indicator of health. And
Mm-hmm.
my sleep, for me, I'm a really bad sleeper. So I kind of hit this place where I knew I needed to make a change, but I didn't know what. And that's kind of when you stepped up and you were like, hey, are you interested in just trying the 6-week course and all of that stuff? And I was, at this point, I was like, yes, anything, yes. And then hearing that I could do it from like my living room. So like, I was like, okay, if I have a crappy day and I might have, you know, like dirty hair and my sweatpants that I've been in for 2 days, but I can still do a workout, like that was really appealing to me.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, we definitely worked together. I remember, to make it fit in with what you were already doing. And I know there was a
Yeah,
little bit of trial and error to kind of find that
totally.
sweet spot.
Yeah.
And so what really changed for you? Like, how are things different now?
Well, a lot of times I'm going to bed a lot earlier and I'm sleeping a lot better. I
Mm-hmm.
realized that working out or doing trauma release exercises like the ones you sent me were really, really helpful and made a huge impact in my sleep and in my health. I just needed to keep working out and keep getting that stuff out of my body. And the more it's out of my body, then the less it's in my brain and my heart. And
Mm-hmm.
it kept just being like healthier habits begets healthier habits. So
Yeah.
sometimes like I'd start my workout as like the first thing of the day, and then I'd be like, well, I want to keep making healthy habits. So that was part of like the self-care as well, was like, oh, I woke up this morning and I meditated, and then I went and I worked out, and then on top of that, now I'm not going to spend 4 hours on Facebook or getting hooked into social media. I'm going to then get myself a really healthy breakfast, and I'm going to remember to go for a walk this afternoon when I need to decompress from my work. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to work through my lunch break. It's like it sets the pattern and the routines in a way that makes you very aware and conscious of what you're doing with your body, what you're doing with your mind, your appetite, all of that. It sets the right tone for the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, routine is so important because then it becomes more second nature,
Yeah.
like it just, like you're saying, oh, well, I already did this and I can do this and I can do that. And even knowing like, oh, what should I do next or what could I do next?
Yeah.
And having, options there.
Yeah. So I
Mm-hmm.
could start building into a habit to be like, okay, well, before I go to bed, I need to know that I can just grab my therapy balls and like roll it out, or my core just ball, or do just some spine alignment or something just to like physically get my body moving a little bit right before bedtime, as well as like, a workout in the morning. There was something that I could do to like decompress and come down from the end of the day too. That could be
Mm-hmm.
turned into a habit as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Now, what do you feel like might have changed, or excuse me, what do you feel like might have happened if nothing had changed, right? If you just like kept on the same path you were at and didn't make this self-care change, like where do you think you would be a year from now?
A year from now,
Yeah.
I think that I think I'd still be wrestling with the same kind of funk that I've been
Mm-hmm.
wrestling with for a while. Like something about like you keep trying the same thing over and over again is kind of the definition of insanity, and keep expecting different results. And I needed
Mm-hmm.
to try something new that I hadn't tried before. I needed to think outside the box. And I was kind of trying to go back to the place that I was hurt the most, which was my heart and my mind, and fix it there. But honestly, it needed to be fixed in my body.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of just ignoring that and being like, no, 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 no. But it was honestly, I don't want to say easy fix. It was a simple fix. They're not the same thing. It was
Yeah.
something where it's like even a simple, like 15 push-ups, or just aligning my spine, or like rolling the balls up against my back when my shoulder aches, something like that, is like, those are simple. They're not necessarily always easy to do, but those are things that I hadn't tried before. And I was like, why hadn't I tried this before? This is really effective and this really helps. And you
Mm-hmm.
notice the results immediately. You know what I mean? Like when you are working with your body, whether you see muscles developing or your back hurts and then you do something with the Coregeous balls or the therapy balls and then you get up and your back no longer hurts.
Yeah.
It's an almost instantaneous reward. It's a short-term reward. Short-term reward. So when you have anxiety and depression, there's not a lot of short-term gains anymore, even when you're working on things. You can go to therapy, you can meditate, you can do your self-care. Besides medication, which if that's right for you, that's what it needs to be, and there's no judgment here whatsoever. But other than that, you don't have a lot of short-term gains or rewards anymore. You're not going to see things that immediately make a huge impact on your day because you're in a valley right now. You're not at a peak.
Yeah.
And you might even feel like you're not even really, you don't know if you're climbing or not. But what I noticed when I started working out trauma and anxiety and depression through my body is I immediately slept better. I immediately stopped having panic attacks before I went to bed at night. I immediately stopped feeling like jaw pain and shoulder pain, things that clench up when I don't even know because I'm just anxious.
Yeah.
I had less panic attacks. I could breathe better. My mind was more focused during my meditations. And these are all things that I noticed like within like a week and a half. And I was like, oh my, this stuff works. Like, oh my God. You know what I mean? And like for me, that was amazing. And that was so validating. And I was so, so grateful because I was like, oh my, this is amazing. And this works and it's affordable. And it's not this thing where I have to deal with side effects. And it was, for me, it was a huge relief. So.
Well, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it's something that you can do for yourself in the moment. So you're able to like, take back that control rather than, waiting for something to kick in or waiting for an appointment or something like that.
Yeah. And you spend a lot of time, if you have anxiety, depression, grief, trauma, you spend a lot of time feeling out of control. You spend a lot of time waking up in the morning and going, I don't know if today's going to be a good day. I don't know if I can guarantee what kind of person I'm going to be this today when I wake up. I could be an awesome person who gets everything done on my to-do list and crushes it. Or I could be the person who wants to curl up in bed and you kind of feel at the mercy of your brain and your body. But these are things that you can do to, as you said, to kind of take back that control and feel more like you're an advocate for your own story. So I feel like if I hadn't done those things a year from now, I can't say, oh, it's so dramatic that like, oh, I wouldn't be alive or something like that. But not much would have changed. And that would have been really sad because there are always opportunities to grow and change on a daily basis, just to know more about what your body can and can't do. And if I hadn't explored those, if I hadn't been open to that, if you hadn't been like, no, when I talk about like getting rid of pain through therapy balls and things like that, it doesn't just mean like physical pain. It can also be mental and emotional pain. If we hadn't both been open to that and go, oh yeah, let's see where that can take us. Like, I'd still be kind of in the same place. I'd have good days, I'd have bad days, and I'd sit there and go, well, I guess this is just my fate. But even with a workout, I'm able to turn around a bad day. And that to say that as someone who navigates depression, that's really tough. Usually when you're in the spiral, you're in the spiral and you're like, I don't know when I'm going to come out.
Yeah, which is so awesome to have. I mean, even if it's not, 1,000% control, which I think, some of us, myself included, would like.
I don't think there's any such thing.
I know, there's no such thing. But just to feel like, there's something I can do right now. And even if it doesn't resolve it completely, I know that it will move the needle forward towards feeling better right now.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. I know. And, every time we would have our weekly chats and you would tell me this like new, oh, well, I slept so much better. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud. It was just so awesome. Because like you're saying too, it was fast. Like in a week. And I remember also you sharing how, there was one day where you skipped it, just, the day's been too long. I'm too tired. I'm too pissed off. And tell us like, what was that like?
I skipped it and I went almost straight back. It was like Sisyphus, where it's like you push up the mountain and I skip it and it's like, no. And you're like, oh yeah, I don't get any room for that.
Yeah.
Because you just see you see it, how it results every day. And then when you try to skip it or you're like, nah, I think I remember using the analogy of like, it's almost like if you have acne and you're washing your face, and it's like you don't wait until you have acne to start washing your face and keeping it clean and oil free. you do that as a preventative thing, like
Yeah.
flossing, same thing. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't, and I'm not saying you have to do it 7 days a week. That's not what I'm saying. Like, that's sometimes just unrealistic. What I am saying is, like, part of it is the preventative measure of just putting those routines and habits in place. So when you do skip a day or so, you don't feel like you went from here all the way back down, because you're
Mm-hmm.
still building up. You're still kind of stacking it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So who do you think would be a good fit to working with me? Like, where would someone need to be or want to be that we could work together well?
Everyone. I know that's probably very vague and not helpful, but honestly, like, I can't imagine someone coming to you and you not being able to help them. I think that you're really good at meeting people where they are, whether they are marathoners or ex-Olympians, or they're people who are quadriplegic, or people who've never worked out a day in their life and they don't know what it is. I think that you're really good at kind of figuring out what people need and just meeting them where they are without any judgment. And that was
Mhm.
always nice. Like, whenever I would check in, I'd be like, yeah, I only did the workout twice this week. You would be like, you'd be like, no worries, no worries, and tell me what's going on. Why was it only 2 times a week? Are you happy with that? Like, I never felt in any way that I needed to be anything other than who I am, and I didn't need to be anywhere other than where I was to start.
Mhm.
Like, every day is a good day to just start.
Mhm.
So, and I feel like you could help out anyone if that's the case. You can be anywhere in your movement, education, and journey. You can be anyone. You can be curious. You can be skeptical. I was skeptical. I'll admit it. I'll be like, "Oh, whatever. But again, I think that you would be able to help anyone, because I think you have a genuine interest in helping people, and you're always
Mhm.
looking for kind of the win-win.
Mhm. Thank
Yeah.
you. And what would you say to anyone who's maybe like thinking about it, but sort of like you were a little bit skeptical? What advice would you give to them?
I would just say to just try it. I mean, you don't have a lot to lose. The worst thing that you could lose is you're still working out and still getting stronger in a lot of different areas of your body. Like, I was telling my husband about it. I was like, you have to try this. And he's not in bad shape at all, but and he works at a standing desk, but he also works 14-hour days.
Mhm.
And I was like, this isn't about like some sort of, like, trying to get buff or trying to lose weight. This is about like aligning your spine and lengthening your shoulders, and getting good posture and getting good body movement, just being smarter about what your body needs. And anyone could use that, really.
Mhm.
So,
Good answer. I agree.
yeah.
Thank you for that. And what's next for you? Any fun movement, adventures, goals? What are you working on movement wise?
Well, I'm coming on your retreat with you
Oh,
in
what? Oh
March.
my gosh.
So I'll see you in Puerto Vallarta in March,
Woohoo!
which I'm so, so excited about.
Yeah, me too.
My goal is to do a handstand randomly. I just want
Yes.
So I'm gonna add that, and then I just want to kind of stick with it. Right now, my biggest battle is consistency. So I just want to make sure that 2 to 3 times a week, at the very least, I am kind of getting down on my mat. I am just getting in focus and listening to my body and telling me what it wants and what it needs. I have all the videos now from all 6 weeks, so I get to choose and be like, it's my neck that's hurting today, or it's my
Mhm.
shoulders, or it's my thighs. So I kind of get to choose from those options as well. And I want to just keep continuing the journey of kind of being more in touch with my body, listening to my body, having more of a proprioception, which I'm horrible at. I think I told you that, like, starting off, I don't have, and sometimes that happens to survivors of trauma, is you don't, like, if you're a survivor, I'm talking directly to whoever's listening right now, and
Mhm.
you maybe grew up in a home where things didn't feel so safe, and you walk into doors a lot, or you trip. There's a reason for that. There's a
Mhm.
reason, because when you were younger, maybe you didn't feel really safe to be in your body and to be aware of everything. But now
Yeah.
that you're older and it is safe, maybe it's awesome to get to start to know your body more and to not walk into door jams like I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
kind
yeah,
of a fun perk of it all.
yeah, and really being able to kind of listen for those subtle cues and feel for those subtle cues so that you don't have to wait for the big thing that like stops you in your tracks, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story
Of
with
course.
us. I so appreciate you and everything that we've been able to do together, and you're amazing. I'll see you in
Thank you.
Mexico.
Right back at you.
And if you are watching this and you are interested in really figuring out how to listen to those subtle cues for yourself and where you should be focusing your self-care energy, let's talk. Head on over to aewellness.com/apply and schedule a time for a free 15-minute consultation where we will talk exactly about that, about what's going on, where you should be focusing, and how to get yourself on the fast track to being pain-free every day, whether that's physical pain, emotional pain, whatever. I'm here for you. So head on over to aewellness.com/apply, and I'm looking forward to talking to you. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Tracy. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.